Today I'm going to talk about review led by William Showcross called Independent Review of Prevent's Report and Government Response. To start with, I'm going to remind viewers that William Showcross has a history of making anti-Muslim statements. Hence why there is little surprise that his review is riddled with biased thinking, errors and plain anti-Muslim prejudice. Amnesty International have strongly criticised the review of the UK's counter-terrorism prevent duty published today on 8 February and said the review has no legitimacy. William Showcross' history of bigoted comments on Muslims and Islam should have precluded his involvement in the Silstad review in the first place. Last year, Amnesty joined a coalition of 17 human rights and hundreds of community groups in a boycott of the Showcross-led review, citing serious concerns about bias and a pattern of behavior which demonstrated the government's unwillingness to seriously interrogate the prevent duty. The controversial appointment of William Showcross, former chair of the Charity Commission, as the reviewer of Prevent is especially problematic given his history of making prejudiced remarks about Islam, such as Europe and Islam is one of the greatest, most terrifying problems of our future. Showcross was appointed in January 2021 after the government was forced to drop Lord Carlisle due to his history of supporting Prevent. Delayed for 3 years, the findings from the Showcross review contradicts the People's Review of Prevent, which has accused Prevent of being ineffective, disproportionate, and discriminatory. They found Prevent to be controversial counter-terrorism program overwhelmingly directed at children and young people. William Showcross's review of Prevent made 34 recommendations, which were all accepted by the government. It concluded that the Prevent program is not doing enough to counter non-violent Islamist extremism and has a double standard when dealing with the extreme right-wing and Islamism. In his review of the official scheme to divert people from terrorism, he said it had concentrated too much on the far right and not enough on Islamist extremism. However, former Metropolitan Police Assistant Commissioner and Senior National Coordinator for Terrorism, said claims of overly focusing on right-wing terrorism, allegedly at the expense of Islamist terrorism, were wrong. He also added that Showcross's report is driven by a right-wing viewpoint that extreme right-wing terrorism is either unimportant or doesn't really exist. The head of MI5 says it's 20% of the work they do, so I would listen to him. The threat from the far right, while less than from Islamist violence, is very real and the system had been too slow in the past to realize the danger it poses. It's insulting to any counter-terrorism professional to suggest they put any particular ideology over another. It's about how they assess the initial intelligence of the potential for violence and how it is then dealt with afterwards. Showcross argued Prevent are not doing enough. Several child referrals to Prevent confirm the significant stereotypes made relating to their racial and religious background. This is just one of the examples. 4-year-old Zach told a staff member at his after-school club that his father had guns and bombs in his shed, referring to the video game Fortnite. The staff member did not say anything to the mother when she collected him that evening. Instead, the school followed Prevent procedures and reported the incident to the police. Based on